What is up, guys? Back to the format with me on the chair and Ipsy back there. That rhymes. But I wanted to make a bit of a venting video talking about life, mainly because I find this a very productive way to get things off my chest that are on my mind. Maybe I might reach someone who is thinking similar things to let them know they're not alone in this world. But this all started this week, right? Where like Monday, I was on my way to go get like a protein bar for my lunch break at a Circle K. And one of the workers there, really nice guy, a little bit on the older side. We actually have some good conversations. And usually I'm one of those guys where if someone asks me what's really on my mind, I get it off my chest. Because a lot of people in modern society, they bottle up and they say, no, it's okay, it's all right. And then eventually they explode. And then that's how you have poor mental health. I get it out there just so it's off my chest. If nobody listens, okay, And you know what? He's gotten the nail on the head with me right a few times. Where he's like, it just seems like you could get overwhelmed with how petty people can be sometimes. And I you know what? To his credit, he's right. Because you see the tales of modernity, you see all the spheres of people, checking out of society because of how shallow it can be sometimes. We don't have the sense of community that we have anymore because everyone's so hyper-individualistic. For the most part, I think there's like 1 in 10 people that aren't like that you could actually connect with and that are actually genuine people. I think that there's some diamonds in the rough that are worth sorting through all the rough to get to those diamonds. You're going to have to overturn a lot of rocks before you find one. But eventually you will find a few. I'm not completely 110% black-pilled, but I'm only saying this because I give him, benefit of the doubt to where he gets this idea that I'm a cynical person, which, you know what, he's a little bit right. I'm more of a positive cynic where I acknowledge the cynical realities, and then I try to find positive ways to really work around it. I'm kind of like a gray pill in that area and all the pill spheres that we've got over here. But I think like throughout me saying what was really on my mind, he thinks that if I'm not smiling or happy all the time, that I must just be in a bad mood. When like Monday started off, I cash out and I say, well, it's Monday, we all are a little groggy. And he's like, okay, I hope you're not too depressed today. It's like, well, dude, I just said I was groggy because it was Monday. That's the typical standard. Plus, if you're like me and you're into trades, you get up pretty early, so it's even more grog. But I think that's the thing is, that spectrum is not cleared up. And I had a conversation with him on Wednesday when we could finally have a talk. He's like, oh, you just seemed like you were in a bad mood on Monday. And I clarified, no, I was groggy. I was in a relatively good mood. But when you've been away on the weekend doing stuff and doing your own personal things, then you got to go back into the day job on Monday. Yeah, you're not looking forward to it as much. The day job isn't the thing that we all look forward to. It's something that needs to get done, especially if you're in my profession. I know that I've made a lot of workforce videos, so it's on the spectrum whether or not you think the workforce is worth it. But especially if you're in trades, there's still some stuff to be salvaged. There's still some career paths worth taking while you pursue whatever it is you want to pursue. But as I go along with this story, I told him, I don't have to be 110% happy, smiley all the time to indicate that I'm good mood. I think that's such a box emotionally. And I think the overall point of this video that I'm making, because I made it to him and I think it would make a good topic. It's okay to not be 100% happy-go-lucky all the time. It's okay to be depressed. It's okay to be sad, I think that, some people journey along, especially I see this in the self-help sphere online a lot, this toxic positivity where you're not allowed to show any negative emotion, or you're not allowed to sit there and acknowledge that some things in life are just bad. I think that's a very shallow way of looking at things. I think that's a very unrealistic way of looking at things. Like you see all those New Agers, not to dig on the New Agers, but some at least, where if everything's not happy-go-lucky, we live in a fairy tale book, oh, you just must be evil and you're not manifesting hard enough, like that kind of mindset, where it's like if you're not just always smiling ear to ear, you just must be part of the problem, you know? Because I actually have to say, the person who's able to be content with things not being 100% and just being kind of at a mellow, you know, because that's the thing. Sometimes this is just my face. I get it's a pretty default, you know, face, but some of us have seen some stuff in our past that has made us have that kind of stare, like a scowl on our face that, you know, no magic pill is going to make it go away. You know, I've heard that a lot where, oh, you have such a nice smile, I wish you used it more. You tend to walk around with a scowl, like this permanent look on your face, like you've been through a war or something. And honestly, man, I can make a separate video about that in my adolescence. But, I mean, there is some stuff that has really shaped who I am as a person. Unless someone hears from start to finish and understands why I had that scowl, I really don't think anyone's opinion on that scowl should matter. But I'm just saying I could empathize with the people who have had a rough patch in life where they're trying to make things better and they're not quite at that end goal yet, or they're not, you know, trying always to be, oh, happy-go-lucky. You ever see that episode of Ren and Stimpy with the happy joys thing where I think it was like Stimpy had Ren in that helmet where it was forcing a smile, and you could tell he doesn't like to be in it, even though it's forcing a smile on his face during the happy joy thing. He smashes the helmet with a hammer, and once he takes off that helmet, he's furious. He wants to, you know, unalive Ren. Unalive Stimpy at that point. I think that's the thing when it comes to this whole toxic positivity. Everyone's always got to be smile, happy-go-lucky all the time. Because it's those people that always have that smile, have you ever noticed? That kind of rubs people the wrong way. Because there's something going on underneath that smile, like, like that doesn't seem authentic. Like you look past the skin and you actually see what's going on in the soul and the heart and all that stuff, whatever you want to call it. For me, it's like, that person that's a little more real, that has the monotone voice, I could have a realistic conversation with. Like today, I was at the gym, and me and this guy were talking about the conditions of society. And, you know, we didn't seem too happy about it, but we seemed like kind of like connecting that we both saw the same thing. You know, we didn't seem so insane. We're like, facts. Like we were vibing with one another. It wasn't always, but it was a dark topic. I think that that's one of the more healthier ways to deal with it because, you know, especially with the way society, especially out here in Western societies where everyone's like kind of selfish, egotistical, always about their social media and everything, even though they really aren't saying much of value. They're just taking pictures of themselves. It's always me. We see a lot of that stuff out there like that. I don't think it's necessarily negative to call out the negatives in the world or the bad things going on right now, because like it seems like things are snowballing in the world, and ignoring it and trying to stay in our bubbles and be like, oh no, everything's fine, everything's sunshine and rainbows. I think the reality of the situation is it's like it's okay to acknowledge that no, things are not okay. A lot of people are unhappy, a lot of people are on edge right now, and it's okay that, and we've created a culture that makes it hard for them to vocalize it or be able to share it with one another without feeling scrutinized or shamed or anything like that, or they think they have to spend a bunch of money on the therapist when we could just talk with each other and say what's wrong, and we might not have to give them a solution, but we could at least empathize, right? Because I think that's how we solve the world's problems, is not from like a hateful perspective. We say, okay, this is the problem, it's bad. What are we going to do moving forward? You know, I think that's a really good way on how to go about it. Because, you know, if you just ignore it and you just smile all the time and try to put on this brave face, eventually that mask cracks. And the face that's been forming underneath that mask is worse than when you put that mask on. and the result is always worse. So sometimes it's better to come at it with a level head, not be always happy all the time. And this doesn't just be with world problems, but just with your emotions too. If you're not feeling 110% energized, don't fake it. It's exhausting to put on that rouge. I understand. But it's like, I think the sooner we acknowledge the issues and come at it through like a reasonable, level-headed approach, if that's even possible anymore. I don't know. I like to hope that there's hope for like human sanity, but the more you go online, the less you think that that's possible sometimes. But I think that it would at least be a good start to just acknowledge that, not everything right now is sunshine and rainbows. We don't have to go 110% black-pilled, but first step of acknowledging or solving a problem is acknowledging that there is a problem. And first step of making your mood better is saying, hey, you know what? My mood's not 110%. Not everything's perfect. And you know what? That's good, because we all think we need to attain perfection when perfection doesn't exist. And I think that's the pressure that we put on ourselves that at least adds to the fire that is this mental health epidemic. But that's what I got to say. Peace out. Cheers. And just remember, if you're not feeling 110%, you don't have to be absolutely miserable, but if you're not 110% happy with your circumstances, just acknowledge it's okay to acknowledge the elephants in the room or the rabbits or something, because that's how you make things better. But peace out. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.